gold down there, Diane. There's gold down there.
You're like their number one favorite guy. Because you won them cash.
Well, it's the Secret Golf Tour Report back for another week, but a very different looking week on the PGA Tour. I'm Diane Knox and I'm joined by Steve Elkington. We're in your home state of Texas for the WGC-Dell Technologies match play. Now, I said it was a different week because it is a match play format, and Elk, we're excited to watch it, but the guys must love it when a week like this rolls around on tour.
Yeah, it's a different format. I'm happy to have the boys back in Texas. This week's golf course, Diane, it's all about match play. And how do you win a match? And what's the best skills that you could have to win a match? Well, my picks are going to tell you that. But, Diane, whenever I think about match play, the hardest guys to beat in match play are always the great putters and the great chippers because they're never out of the hole. And how will that fare for guys like Bryson DeChambeau, Justin Thomas, or some of these young guys that are coming up like Morakawa and Xander Shuffly? We're going to reveal all that. But this golf course, Diane, is a super course right on the river. Lots of sort of undulations through the course. You've got to drive it pretty well. You've got to avoid a fair amount of trouble. But at the end of the day, Diane, it's all about the will of the player to beat the person right in front of him. And the best club in the bag in match play, in my opinion, has always been the putter.
So Austin Country Club, it's another Pete Dye design that we're getting to see, and Lake Austin right there. So you'll be able to tell us a lot about this, but there's a huge amount of elevation changes in that the front nine and the back nine are on completely different levels of elevation.
Plays one part of it up on the hill, Diane, and then as you've noted there, as you see in your screen behind you, it drops down onto the lake, or is it the river, or is it both? But it's beautiful. It can get a little windy. If the course is firm, the players have to take all sorts of different lines, and it gets kind of windy in Austin as well, Diane. But we're expecting good weather this week. It was warm in Texas. We went through a huge cold spell. Everything is trying to bloom. It's going to be a beautiful week on TV. And, you talked about it earlier. Getting to a match play event, Diane, I'm going to let you describe the format because you do actually get to stay around for 3 days, and I'd like you to maybe tell us about that.
Well, we're going to go and we'll give you everything you need to know, including our brackets for the match play this week. Now, something else that makes it exciting is that the par 5s are reachable on the course, and there are 5 par 4s less than 400 yards. So that's going to bring the drama. The other time we see match play, of course, Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. So some of these guys will be very familiar with it, and it really can light that fire in them to go out there and be ultra competitive. And for some of the guys like Morakawa, for example, it's going to be the first time that we've seen them play this style. Anyway, right, let's get into the format. So 64 players in the field, and they've been split into 16 groups of 4. Now, the thing to note as well is that the action starts on Wednesday. So we've got Wednesday through Sunday. It's like a round-robin format, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, with the 16 group winners advancing to the knockout stage. Then, well, they get points, 1 group for a win and half a point for a halved match. Then, if there is a tie, then it's going to be a sudden death to see who moves forward. The group winners play the round of 16 on Saturday morning, quarter-final on Saturday afternoon. Then we have the semi-final on Sunday morning and the final on Sunday afternoon. So put it this way, there is a lot of golf that's going to be played this week.
Yeah, I think fatigue will be a factor, although we saw Kevin Kisner win this tournament last year. And Diane, he's a sort of a plotter. He hits the ball very straight. He's able to, you mentioned it, there's some reachable holes, there's some drivable par 4s. But last year, Kisner just played too steady, putted the lights out of it last year and just ran everybody off the course. Yes, and we will be, as we describe our picks, Diane, you'll play everyone in your group. So let's say I'm in a grouping with 3 other guys. I have to play each one of them, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, and one on Friday. And the winner of that group will then jump into more traditional thinking of mano a mano. So are we going to get to our groups?
We are, right, so stay tuned because we have got our secret golf bracket. We're going to kick that off. We'll go through all of the groups. We will fill out our bracket and tell you how you can get involved as well. Compete against your friends on PGA Tour events. Win cash and bragging rights. Test your golf knowledge. Experience the success and failure of PGA Tour players. SG Tour app is an engaging golf experience designed by professional golfers that created a variety of games, including single and multi-day games, as well as tournament-long contests. It's really simple. Join or create a game, pick 4 players, and win cash. You can even immerse yourself in interactive features, including course strategy, putt predictor, and daily content exclusively from PGA Tour players. The word is out and golf fans are catching on. So don't miss out. Download the SG Tour app now. It's our tour report this week for the WGC-Dell Technologies match play in Austin, Texas. I'm Diane Knox and Elk is here. We're going to fill out our brackets and well, I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit of competition. It's right now, I mean, I'm looking at this and when I start filling it out, obviously we'll know towards the end, but it's very hard to pick an outright champion just when you're looking at all the groups and all the names.
It is, Diane. So what we've done, I've got my picks and you've got yours. Let's put something on the table. Let's have a bottle of wine to the winning bracket.
Okay.
Your case from Scotland, maybe it's a bottle of whiskey. I don't know.
I would drink the wine over the whiskey.
Okay, me too.
That's what we'll do. Right, okay, a bottle of wine on the line. So the guys, 64 players, obviously, have been divided into groups of 4. We're going to go through each of the groups and we're going to pick our names for our bracket. So we'll start with the first group, Elk, and we have got Dustin Johnson, Kevin Na, fellow Scotsman Robert McIntyre, and Adam Long. So who's your guy? You need one name from that group of 4.
Dustin Johnson, number 1 player in the world, will advance out of this group, and he is my pick in this group.
Okay, well, I'm going for a DJ as well. I just think it's very hard to see past him. And, you know, when you look at the other, I think Kevin Na he could cause a little bit of an upset. But for me, the risk was just too high. So Dustin Johnson is my pick from that group. Right, moving on. Sung Jae Im, Victor Perez, Mark Leishman, and Russell Henley. So for me, well, I looked at Mark Leishman only because we have a little bit of secret golf loyalty to Leish always, but I'm going on current form that we saw from this guy last week at the Honda. His form had dipped a little bit before that. However, I just think that he's been playing very consistently, so I'm picking Russell Henley.
Yes, I see that here on my list. You've got Russell Henley. I am taking Mark Leishman, the Aussie. I was over in Austin a couple of years ago, and Leish particularly likes this golf course. And he's a great putter, and he's a great pressure putter. So I'm thinking that Leish played a lot of golf in Australia growing up in match play, and this is going to be right up his alley because the only thing, Diane, that Leish has been lacking is he's been having a high score on like 1 hole each week. And if he goes in the pond, well, he's only lost a hole. So I've got Leishman coming out of this bracket.
We should say as well, normally for our tour report, we really study the stats and the roadmap required to do well around a specific course. And we have looked at that, but obviously it's not kind of as important. But putting is always going to be a big thing. And if Leish can get hot on that putter, which we know he can do, then it's going to be a good pick. But I say the same about Russell Henley. Moving on to our next group, we have Webb Simpson, Paul Casey, Mackenzie Hughes, and Taylor Gooch.
I have chosen Taylor Gooch. I enjoyed watching him at the Players' Championship, finished early on Sunday with about a 66. I particularly enjoyed watching his swing coming down the stretch. That was a pocket full of money he won at Players' Championship, Diane, with a bunch of confidence and a week off. So he's got a few good players, Webb Simpson in that group particularly. I am taking Taylor Gooch to come out of that group, Diane.
Okay, well, I am taking Paul Casey. And, well, again, he played great at the Players' Championship, so I'm taking that momentum going forward. And I also think with Casey, he's been a little bit hard done by over the years when it comes to the European Ryder Cup team. And with it being a Ryder Cup year, I think that Casey is going to be, all guns blazing, out there really looking to prove that he can shine when it comes to match play. So Casey is my pick.
Good. I'm not going to get too much into, bashing your picks, Diane, but Casey's worst club in the bag is his putter. But hey, let's just move on.
However, and what I will say back to that is we talked about that on our tour report a few weeks ago and on our social media. And someone in his camp said that he's been working very hard in his putting. They fired back at us. I was like, okay. And he proved it at the Players. So I think that Casey's on the right track.
He's a great player. He could win the whole thing. And Diane, just for full disclosure here, I am pulling for this week of who I want to win on a lot of these picks of mine.
Yeah, so you should. You're allowed to do that. I mentioned the European Ryder Cup team, and we have an all-European group next. Tyrrell Hatton, Lee Westwood, Sergio Garcia, and Matt Wallace.
Well, I think I know who you're going to pick, but I'm going to go with Tyrrell Hatton. I got to think that Hatton has been getting off to these horrendous starts the last few weeks, but his form was early overseas. He won, he played good. I've got Hatton coming out of this group.
Okay, well, I'm going with Garcia. And I go back to that Ryder Cup experience and just really thriving in that match play situation, combined with the fact that he's coming off a really solid performance at the Players. So Sergio Garcia is my pick.
Sergio Garcia also lives in Austin, Diane. I don't know if he's a member of this golf course. I don't think he is, but he did miss a couple of tiddlers there at the Players' Championship and got himself off foot. So the guys playing Sergio are going to be making him putts like...
Yeah, but, well, that's the other thing is, obviously they can say, that's fine, a little bit of a gimme, but how many guys, especially when you look at Casey, Garcia, people that have a little bit of a history when it comes to those short tiddlers, I don't think there's going to be many putts conceded with these guys. Okay, moving on. Headlined by Bryson DeChambeau, then we have Tommy Fleetwood, Siwoo Kim, and Antoine Rosner.
I know what you're laughing at. Bryson DeChambeau, certainly, Diane, almost won the last two events he played. He says he has a big announcement this afternoon at 3 p.m. Is it that he's going to come out of this group? Because I have got him coming out of this group. The science guy, it's just going to be too much for him, Diane. I think he's just got all kind of momentum and he's in everybody's head. And, oh, my gosh, Bryson DeChambeau's a monster to play in match play.
I think the announcement will probably have something to do with a new endorsement or sponsorship, but I'm picking Bryson as well, just because I think with this course, especially those par fives being reachable in two and the fact that there's a lot of shorter par fours, it's got to be intimidating if Bryson is really attacking. I know you're going to say that he's not able to attack so much at this course. I knew it was coming, but just with his length off the tee, I think that it could be a bit of an intimidation factor when it comes to his opponent.
There's no way you could know what I was going to think because I don't know what I'm going to think. I think Bryson DeChambeau is going to hit across corners. I think he's going to do some crazy stuff. Why? Because he can. It's match play. The worst that can happen is he loses the hole. So I think we're going to see some super crazy stuff this week from Bryce.
I like that. Okay. Next group, Tony Finau, Jason Kokrak, Will Zalatoris, and Dylan Fratelli. I'll kick off with this one, and I'm going for Zalatoris just because I just love the story. I love the rise in his game, his name, his form. The fact that Zalatoris is playing a WGC to him must be such a pinch me moment for the second time. I mean, we saw him at Concession a few weeks ago, but I just love the story, so I'm saying Zalatoris is going to win his group.
It's a good pick, Diane. I have a little bit more allegiance to Jason Kokrak. We've been talking. He's just been in the top 10 every week. And I said, mate, you're playing really good. He goes, you know what? I'm not hitting it that good, but I'm chipping and putting like crazy right now. So I said, hey, I thought 2 weeks ago, that's going to suit him well at the match play because he's a long hitter like Bryson, not quite as long, but I'm taking Kokrak out of this group.
Okay, well, the next one is Victor Hovland, Abraham Anser, Bernd Weisberger, and Kevin Streelman. I think this was one of the hardest groups actually for me to pick one name.
I'm taking Abraham Anser because he has a very similar game to Kevin Kisner, very much controlled, down the middle type game, rhythmical swinger. We saw him play well at Augusta. I'm a little bit out on the edge on this pick, but Anser's been quiet lately, and this could be a week for a young guy to knock off a few whales above him. So I'm taking Anser.
I was going to take Anser, then I realised that you would, so I was like, well, I'm not going to. And then I picked Weisberger, then I changed it to Streelman, and then I thought, what on earth am I doing? I'm going with Hovland, and we don't even need to ask why I'm going with Hovland, because he's just such a superior golfer on the PGA Tour, and I just think that he's, again, one of these guys that will be thinking about Ryder Cup for Europe later this year, and Victor Hovland.
It's a good pick, Diane. I'm thinking this week I've got two thoughts. I've got the methodical game, like Kevin Kisner. We'll get to him in a minute. That's who won it last year. We know that Matt Kuchar won it with a very similar game. I'm sticking with that. I've got a couple of guys that can bomb it, but that's my theory.
Okay, well, following that group is Colin Morakawa, Billy Herschel, Max Homa, and Jt Poston. Another really interesting group to pick one.
This is tough, Diane. I've gone completely psycho and picking Jt Poston because I love JT and I love his caddy. I think his attitude will be good. He's a great putter. He almost missed the cut at Players, but had a massive comeback and finished up in the money pretty good. So I just think he's going to run the tables down in Texas on these Bermuda greens.
Okay. I was going to pick Homa. Morakawa just was not ever a pick for me. But Homa for and against, I think sometimes when he's out there, I know we just saw the win at Genesis, but I think sometimes he needs a bit of a kick to get going. So the guy that definitely does not need that is Billy Herschel. I think he's fired up all the time. I love how he talks to himself out there. He just seems to be turned on. And for Herschel, I think there is a win coming, and a big stage would be amazing for him. So I'm picking Billy Herschel this week. Well, now things get super interesting with the next group, and I'll tell you why. We have Justin Thomas, who just won the Players, Louis Oosthuizen, who finished runner-up here to Jason Day in 2016, defending champion Kevin Kisner, who also finished runner-up in 2018 to Bubba Watson, and Matt Kuchar, who finished runner-up last year to Kiz. How do you pick one name from this group?
Well, you've got two bombers up top, Louis and JT, and then you've got two real straight players with, as you noted, the winner and the runner-up last year with Kuchar and Kisner. I think JT has too much confidence now after playing what he did at the Players Championship. He's hitting all kind of different shots, little hook shots off 18, just full of confidence, and I'm going to have JT advancing out of this group.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Justin Thomas as well, just because we'd seen a little dip in his form before the Players, but I just can't see past how he played on Sunday at the Players to win the trophy. It was flawless golf. It was super offensive golf, and he didn't put a foot wrong. So I'm putting Justin Thomas as my pick from this group. Same as you.
You're getting clever by the hour.
I'm learning. Okay, next up, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Matthew Wolff, Corey Connors, and Jordan Spieth. I just want to say quickly, it's great to see Matt Wolff back in action, because he was playing, not Matt Wolff standard, and then we saw him withdraw from a couple of tournaments. So hopefully he's in a really good place and he's happy to be back out there this week.
Yeah, and is he your pick in this group?
No, I feel really bad. I'm picking Corey Connors because he played excellent at Bay Hill, then he played excellent at the Players, and Corey Connors is going to be my pick. However, it was tough between Connors and Spieth, to be honest.
As much as I hate to say that Jordan Spieth going back to where he went to college at the University of Texas, and I really don't like the University of Texas just because I was against him all the way through college. But I can't think of a worse guy to play in match play than Jordan Spieth, because he only has about 1 or 2 loose shots a day, but the guy can make it from 50 feet almost on every hole, and he is an absolute dangerous opponent. So I have taken Jordan Spieth to come out of this group.
And I know you're just teeing us up for a Thomas Spieth showdown on Saturday, but we'll move on to that in a little while. We still have some groups to get through. And the next one is Patrick Cantley, Hideki Matsuyama, Carlos Ortiz, and Brian Harmon.
The toughest player in this tournament, and with some form to back it up, is Brian Harmon. He played sensational golf at the Players' Championship. I think he finished tie 3rd, but he is just the guy that you don't want to catch in match play. He doesn't give up. He's a great putter. He just hangs in there, and I've taken Brian Harmon out of this group.
Cantley would be the kind of automatic first choice, but not for me. I'm the same as you. I'm going with Brian Harmon because I just think that he's a small person. That sounded really bad, but he is. I mean, he's a shorter guy, but the grit and fight and determination that he showed for the Players' Championship, especially in that final round, again, that's the main reason why I'm picking him this week too. Okay, so the group that, potentially Harmon could play against if our picks go our way: Patrick Reed, Joaquin Niemann, Christian Bezuidenhout, and Bubba Watson.
Could you say the third one? I didn't quite catch that. No, I knew who it was. I'm going to take Joaquin Niemann. I think he's fit and strong, and I think this is an opportunity for this young man to knock off some big-time players in his group. I mean, Patrick Reed would be the scalp of all scalps in this group. He could be in a lot of people's brackets as the winner. I actually think Niemann, as good as he putts, he's one of the top putters on the tour. He's a great chipper. I'm really looking forward to this bracket, Diane.
I am going for Patrick Reed for a few reasons, but first of all, I mean, he's an incredible putter, so that should fare well in match play as always. He is the king of match play, in my opinion. He's Captain America. I mean, nobody thrives off that more than Patrick Reed. He's playing in his home state of Texas, so P. Reed is my pick for this group for sure. There was no doubt in my mind. Okay, next group, and we're getting through them now. Xander, Shuffly, Scotty Sheffler, Jason Day, and Andy Sullivan.
This is a loaded group, but Scotty Sheffler went to University of Texas, so he knows this greens, this area really well. He's a high hitter. He's going to be very familiar with this golf course. He's a great putter. I am going out of the box and taking Sheffler this week, Diane, out of this group.
How hard is it to say Shuffly, Sheffler, Shuffly, Sheffler, back to back? Well, I am not taking either of them. I'm going for the guy that has won this tournament twice, 2014 and 2016 at Austin Country Club. Jason Day is my guy from this group. Okay, well, I mean, the next group is a tough one to pick from as well. Rory McIlroy, Cameron Smith, Lanto Griffin, and Ian Poulter. I'll kick things off just because there's a bit of a theme here when I'm really thinking about the Ryder Cup. And even though this guy's form of late has been kind of trash, he made the cut at the Players' Championship a couple of weeks ago. But Ian Poulter he performs under this pressure, especially on greens, and he loves it. The fans love him in this scenario too, so Ian Poulter is my pick.
You're right about Poulter. He's amazing in match play. The normal person would pick Rory McIlroy, but Rory McIlroy's got too many question marks, and the mullet, Cam Smith, mate, right in the heels of Matt Jones. I mean, Smitty's been playing so well, Masters, and kept it going. I'm pulling for Cam Smith. He'll come out of this group.
Okay, that's cool. We've got 2 more groups to go. Daniel Berger, Harris English, Brendan Todd, and Eric Van Rooyen. This was tough. I found this one hard as well.
Yeah, I did too. I'm going to take the straightest driver on the PGA Tour with Brendan Todd. He's been a bit quiet lately. I'm sure he's been working on his swing with Bradley Hughes. It's a great group. I mean, Berger is a question mark, came off a withdrawal last week with a rib. I think Todd will come out of this group.
Okay, I picked Brendan Todd as well. For the exact same reasons as you, pretty much. And yeah, I can see why Berger would be the top pick, but with that question mark over his rib, and he doesn't really have a great record when it comes to this event. So Brendan Todd is my pick. And then the final group, we have John Ram, Ryan Palmer, Shane Lowry, and Sebastian Munoz.
Well, Diane, John Rahm and Ryan Palmer won the tournament in New Orleans as partners, and every person would say Rahm is, he's the number 3 player in the world and the top of this bracket, but I'm taking the Texan. I'm taking Ryan Palmer. He knows how to putt in Texas, and there's a certain art to putting in Texas, Diane, so I'm sticking with my guy, Ryan Palmer.
Okay.
He is going to mow over this group like a rolling tumbleweed. Is that what you say? You can't have that. That's terrible.
Gosh,
you do it.
That was so bad. Okay, well, I'm going for one of the top-seeded guys in the whole entire field. Again, he's a fiery Spaniard, and I think that that's going to bode really well when it comes to match play. So John Ram is my pick for the final group.
That's all pretty good. We got the group winners coming out, Diane. So now things get interesting.
Yes, stay tuned, because we are going to take our 16 group winners and work them through the rest of our bracket. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app and play 4-ball. It's a classic stroke play competition based on the aggregate scores of 4 players. Who makes your team? Well, pick 4 guys, 1 from each tier based on the current world golf rankings. Want a tip? You need 4 guys to make the cut. Get in the game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app, available on iOS in the App Store. This week, our tour report for the PGA Tour is a little bit different because it's the WGC-Dell Technologies match play in Austin. Now, Elk and I have gone through the first 16 groups, and we've picked who we think our winners are going to be from each group. Now we're working our way through our bracket, and we're on to the last 16. Now, these matches are going to take place on Saturday. Don't forget that tournament play starts on Wednesday this week. So we have a lot of golf to watch. Right, Elk, I think we just get right into it then, and we talk about who we think. We've got our winners that we think are going to come from each group, and then they're going to go into matches and we're going to pick our winner from each of them. It sounds way more complicated than it is, and you can follow along with our entire brackets on all of our Secret Golf social media channels. We'll even have one for you to take part in as well. So Elk, we're just going to work our way through the groups in the order that we did them. You have Dustin Johnson and Mark Leishman. Who's going to win between the two of them?
I've got Mark Leishman, Diane, taking down the number 1 player. Leish is on a roll. I don't know that at all. It's just a feeling that I have. He has no form to back that up, and I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm going with Mark Leishman. Okay,
well, I'm going to be like the total basic, typical person here, and I'm going to pick Dustin Johnson just because he's world number 1, and Dustin Johnson is my guy. Next up, well, from the next groups you had Taylor Gooch and Tyrrell Hatton. That's going to be an interesting matchup, but who is going to be victorious?
I talked about in the coming out of the group, I'm really enjoying watching Taylor Gooch. I think this kid's got something going on. I saw him at the Players' Championship. I'm taking Gooch over Hatton.
Okay, well, I had Paul Casey against Sergio Garcia, and I'm going to pick Garcia as my winner to advance. I say that with a little bit of hesitation, but I'm doing it. I'm committing to it this week.
Roll there for that. Yeah.
Right, next up you had Bryson DeChambeau and Jason Kokrak. It's like the battle of the big hitters.
Exactly, and Kokrak may be the only guy out there that can keep it with Science Guy when he pulls out the big stick. So I'm taking Kokrak in the upset, Diane, in this match. Kokrak.
One of my friends has started calling Bryson Mr. Protein Shakes, so you can call him Science Guy. I'm going to call him Protein Shakes. Anyway, I had Bryson v Zalatoris, and I just think that Bryson's going to pip him in this one. I would love it to be like that Cinderella story and have Zalatoris advance, but I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau. Next up, well, my two picks were Victor Hovland and Billy Herschel to go against each other. And it's another one that I've been so back-to-back on, but I just think that the talent we see from Victor Hovland is just remarkable, so he's going to be my pick to go forward.
And I had Abraham Ancer versus Jt Poston. Jt Poston's one of the best putters on the tour. Abraham Ancer, however, will be too much, Diane, so I'm going to put Abraham Ancer, the Mexican, will be hitting it down the middle, and he is going to win that match.
Okay then. So from the next two groups, you went with Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. Wow. I mean, I really hope this happens because this would be amazing to watch on Saturday.
Yes, and remember, it wasn't too many years ago that Jordan was always teased by JT about the golden child. Well, this is going to be the golden child's week. I'm picking Jordan Spieth to take down JT if my bracket holds together.
Right. Well, I had Justin Thomas against Cody Connors, and even though I'm really big on Connors and his game right now, a superb ball striker and gets so hot on the greens, but I just think that Justin Thomas and the confidence from his win at the Players and this environment that he loves, Justin Thomas is my pick. So then next up, you went with Brian Harmon and Joaquin Niemann.
I did, and I would have loved to have keep pushing Brian Harmon forward, but Joaquin Niemann is just such a good putter and such a good chipper and so tenacious. The kid out of Chile, and he's on a bit of a roll mentally as well. There was a story about that young cousin of his that had problems health-wise. It looked like they've got that sorted out. He is going to be riding that cloud, and I'm going with Niemann.
Okay, well, for pretty much the reasons you gave at the beginning for Niemann, I am going to use them for my pick, and that is Patrick Reed. I think he's going to get Harmon and Reed will advance. So next up, well, I had Jason Day against Ian Poulter, and I said that Ian Poulter, you just really can't see past him when it comes to match play, but I am seeing past him, and I think Jason Day will advance.
And of course, I had Scotty Sheffler versus Cam Smith, and I am taking the Aussie. That mullet is going to be a couple of strokes advantage over the Scotty Sheffler. No, Cam Smith, my pick.
Okay, and then Brendan Todd versus John Ram I had, and this is where I'm just going out on a total limb, and I'm going to say that Brendan Todd is going to beat John Ram. Just when I think about the two of them playing against each other, Todd to me just seems very I don't know, very even keel, kind of like gets his work done. Ram can be a little bit fiery in these situations, so I'm going to say that Brendan Todd will advance. And you had Brendan Todd and Ryan Palmer.
Well, we know there's upset city. It's only like 35% of the favorites make it through all these brackets, Diane. So there is upsets everywhere. So anyone listening to this show think we're crazy, but I'm picking Ryan Palmer, the Texan, to advance out of this bracket against Brendan Todd.
So we're on now to what will be played on Saturday afternoon. It's the quarter-finals. Again, we're just going to rattle through this. My first set of quarter-finals will be Dustin Johnson against Sergio Garcia. Elk, who do you think I'm going to pick for this?
I think you're going to pick Dustin Johnson because he's number one and you have a tendency to lean towards the sure locks.
I'm not. I'm going for Sergio Garcia. I don't know why, to be honest with you. I think there was I don't know, the way that he played at the Players, I just saw a little bit of a spark back in his game, and I love him in match play, so I'm going for Garcia.
Well, I've got Mark Leishman and Taylor Gooch, and the only way that I could get off Taylor Gooch would be I got to put him in front of Mark Leishman. So Leish would have just taken down your man, Dustin Johnson, or I should say the result from Sergio Garcia. But I'm sticking with the Aussie Mark Leishman, great putter, and that's my spot.
Okay. Next up, well, for me, it's going to be Bryson DeChambeau against Victor Hovland. And I'm going to go with Hovland, just because I think that Bryson could be, as you said before, he's going to try, I think, some really cool things around this course. But when you call him the science guy, I get this image of his just head exploding. And I think Hovland's going to be smiling his whole way around. So I'm picking Victor Hovland.
And in this stage, I had Jason Kokrak versus Abraham Ansah, which means that Jason Kokrak would have just beaten Science Guy, so he'll be brimming with confidence. So I'm pushing Kokrak through over Ansah into the semis.
This is getting exciting. Well, next up, I have Justin Thomas against Patrick Reed. Whoa, that's going to be a showdown. I know, right? And I think just because he loves match play so much, and I think Patrick Reed sometimes is like, I don't know, a little bit of he makes himself an easy target for a lot of these guys sometimes. So I always think that he plays with a chip on his shoulder, especially against someone like Justin Thomas. So I'm going with Patrick Reed.
Well, I think you're right in everything you said. I had Jordan Spieth versus Joaquin Niemann, and I'm so big on Spieth this week because of how he putts the ball and all that, Diane. This could be it. This could complete the comeback for Jordan Spieth right in his backyard, so to speak.
That'll be a nice time to do it. And then for me, Jason Day versus Brendan Todd. And I just think that Day has proved that the match play format suits him, winning this 2 times, and he's won at Austin Country Club. So 2016 champion Jason Day progresses for me.
And I had Cam Smith, the Aussie, versus Ryan Palmer, the Texan. And Ryan Palmer is just on a roll in my mind, and I'm pushing Ryan Palmer through, Diane, to the semis.
This is crazy. Okay, well, stay tuned, because then we're going to talk about the matches that will happen on Sunday, the semi-finals, the big finals, and we will give you who we think our overall champion is going to be for the Dell Technologies match play.
Play Money Grabber on the SG Tour. Instead of strokes, it's all about the cash. You pick a team of 4 players, 1 from each tier, and scoring is based on the money that your team wins. Your guys missed the cut? No problem, you're still in the game. The SG Tour Golf Gaming app, available on iOS in the App Store.
Well, it's the final part of our tour report this week for the WGC-Dell Technologies match play. We are working our way through our brackets. And Elk, well, we're on to the matches that will happen on Sunday, semi-finals, and then the finals. These guys are going to be playing a lot of golf over the week. But in my semi-final match, well, the first one, I have got Sergio Garcia against Victor Hovland. I have a real European flavour to my picks this week. And I think that Sergio, I'm just so big on Sergio. You made the great point that Austin is his hometown, and I've just got this gut feeling, maybe it'll bite me in the butt, but I think Sergio Garcia is going to advance there. Then in my second semi-final, Patrick Reed against Jason Day. I've talked about the fact that Reed just loves match play, and that Day has, well, he's won this event twice, but I think Texan Patrick Reed, so I move him on to have Sergio and Reed as my big final.
Well, that's very interesting, Diane. But let's get serious here. I have Mark Leishman versus Jason Kokrak in the semis, and I've got Kokrak. I'm pushing him through. Of course, we all know this is sort of a fantasy draft. This is a bracket that thousands and thousands of people will be filling out. On the other side, I have Jordan Spieth versus Ryan Palmer, and I've got in the final this weekend, I have got Jason Kokrak playing against Jordan Spieth, and Jordan Spieth is going to make 7 birdies on Sunday and win the Dell
Okay, and well, my final is going to be between Sergio Garcia and Patrick Reed, and I've just got this feeling that Sergio Garcia is going to be my big champion, and it's going to be a great moment where he's in Austin and his wife Angela is going to be there and his 2 kids. Like, lovely. I can see it happening.
And how many birdies for him in the final match?
The what, sorry? How many birdies?
Yeah, that's a little footnote. Will he make?
I think he's going to make 9.
You really are high on Sergio this week. Birdie's half the course and wins the tournament. That's
yeah,
great.
That's what I think. And then, well, we should actually look at our 3rd place as well, because I'll have Hovland versus Jason Day. I think Jason Day is going to beat Hovland.
Wait, I got to get my paper back out.
I know. Can you remember?
Yeah.
You're going to have Ryan Palmer.
And Leishman. Well, I hadn't thought that far, but that's tricky. I think Ryan Palmer, because he's from Texas. Check that. Just check that. Ryan Palmer.
Okay, well, that's a massive build-up. Okay then, so well, that was fun. We're gonna have our full brackets on our social media, so you can go and have a little look, and also we'll do a blank one up there too, so just for the hell of it, you can put all your brackets together, tag us in it on social, and we'll see who gets it on. Also, we're mentioning this at the very end of the show, but there's another event happening on the PGA Tour, and it's the Corrales Punta Cana Championship. I feel like this just happened a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago that it actually did, in the wraparound season, kind of end of last year. But the guys are playing again, and if you want to play a game on the SG Tour Golf Gaming app, we are going to have it open for this event in Punta Cana. So you can still go on there, you can pick your 4-ball team, you can play 1-day games for moving day, for closing day, and you can still put in a little bit of money there and see how you get on.
No, that's great, Diane. Of course, we're not coded for match play. Hopefully we will be for the Ryder Cup. This is going to be an exciting week. If you would like to fill out your bracket and you beat us, we'll highlight you. We'll tell you how good you are.
Elk will send you some wine.
Yeah. We do know this is a very volatile event. There's going to be a lot of upsets. And we just like March Madness, Diane, this is Golf March Madness. And what if we get 1 or 2 of them in the final? Wouldn't that be something?
I know, right? Well, just very quickly, since the WGC switched to pool play in 2015, only 35% of the top-seeded players have advanced out of their groups into the round of 16. So, I mean, that just goes to say all.
For my picks. That suits well for my picks.
I think it does for mine as well, to be honest. Right, thank you so much for watching the show. As we said, go and fill out your bracket, see how you get on against us, and you might be laughing on the other side of your face when Garcia's lifting that trophy on Sunday.
If he lifts that, no, I'm not going.
Saturday is considered moving day, and you can play along on the SG Tour. It's a 1-day stroke play competition where you select a team of 4 players to shoot the lowest scores of the day. Will you make big moves? Download the SG Tour Golf Gaming app on iOS now.